We knew we were going to get to this one eventually.
Yeah, I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to be here.
Man, neither did I.
Oh man. Okay. Hi, Transformers fans. Welcome back to the channel. I am D-WIZZLE. This is another edition of my live. It's Transformers Tuesday. That means we are talking about every Transformers movie leading up to Transformers Rise of the Beasts that's coming out in June. We've already talked about the previous films up until this point. We've talked about the 1986 animated film, The Transformers, the movie. We talked about the first three Michael Bay Transformers films, the original that came out in 2007, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and Transformers Dark of the Moon. If you guys haven't seen our live streams for any of those movies, I'll leave a link in the description below to a playlist. It'll take you to all those streams. But we made it to the halfway point. Today we are talking about the fourth installment of Michael Bay's Transformers films. Transformers Age of Extinction. Joining with me today, as always, I have fellow YouTuber and Transformers expert, Big B.
Yeah, this is probably the one time I'm not glad to be talking about a Transformers film.
Me neither, man.
Like, I think I said that for Revenge of the Fallen, but like this one and the one after it especially, man.
Yeah, it was a struggle, to say the least. But yeah, we're here. We're gonna get this shit over with. We're gonna tear this band-aid off. We're gonna get all our grievances out, and that's what we're gonna do. I'm sorry for all you people, all you 10 people that like this movie. I don't think this is the stream for you if you guys enjoyed this, because we are not gonna be nice. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we get into this, let us look at the chat real quick. I guess so far we just have a little movie perp. Thank you for coming in. He says, "It's sucking up metal and dropping it." Spielberg describing why he hired Mike. Okay, great. That's great. And then there's Blue Jay, and he says he likes this movie. More power to you, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna attack you for that one, but I'm not gonna agree with you either.
Yeah, not agreeing with you either. And I have a couple of other friends that I know um, that knew I was doing this stream, and they liked the movie as well. And they asked me, "Please go easy on it. Please go easy on it." I'm like, "Why would I go easy on it, guys? You guys know me. I give it how it is. I don't give you what you want to hear. I give you guys my honest opinions, whether it's good or bad. I don't try to be popular. You know me. I'm going to give my honest thoughts. But you know, after this person asked me that, like when I rewatched it, I legit tried to give it an open mind because it's been a while since I rewatched it. So I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay,
same.
yeah.
Same.
So it's like maybe this time around, maybe there'll be certain things that I appreciate. I'm not expecting to like it, but it's like maybe I was too harsh on it. But we'll get to details in a minute. We got the George in the chat. It's like, oh boy, this part of the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it says, Dial gives movies hell. That's not true. That's not true. It's not all the time. A lot of people thinking I just hate everything, and that's not true. If you guys have seen my reviews for most of the films that came out last month, I gave most of them a positive review. And there's
Oh yeah.
bunch of other things that I like as well. So it's like I don't hate on everything. And even with the first couple Michael Bay films, there was stuff that I liked in it. So come on now, I put it a fair shot. And we got Samir in the chat. Thank you for dropping in. The only good Transformers movies is the first one and Bumblebee. That's it. The rest are little trash. Yeah,
I agree and disagree. Like I've said before, I like Dark of the Moon, but like overall, I kind of gotta agree with you on that one, to be honest.
yep. And finally, this is the longest of the Transformers movies.
Oh my
Oh,
god, yeah, no, it is.
Oof.
I loaded this movie up. I was watching it last night. I loaded it up. I was like, you know what? It's like you. I was like, yeah, let me try to go into this with an open mind. The last time I watched it was the first time I watched it, which was in theaters, and I was like, okay, maybe it's not that long. Maybe I can give it a chance. 2 hours and what? 25 minutes?
45 minutes.
God.
Yeah, no. But anyway, why don't we start getting into Transformers Age of Extinction? As always, we have to remind the viewers out there, this is a spoiler-filled discussion. This movie came out in 2014. It's been out for years. So if you guys haven't seen Transformers Age of Extinction by now, I envy you. But if you don't want to know anything about it, go and watch it on Paramount Plus if you want. If you got 3 hours to spare, But we're gonna go into details about it. So
I envy the people that stopped at Dark of the Moon.
Yep.
I genuinely do.
Yeah. Okay, so after Transformers: Dark of the Moon, I thought that was it. That was all that we're gonna get from Michael Bay. That we got a good, well, I would say good trilogy, but he had his set films. He had a beginning, middle, and end, kind of. I wasn't the most satisfied with the ending of Dark of the Moon, but at least they gave us an awesome last 45 minutes, big climactic battle, one of the best action scenes I've seen in a Transformers film. Okay, great. Dark of the Moon was what it was. So, I thought it was over. We weren't going to get any more like Transformers films for a while. I don't even know if they were going to pick it up after the Dark of the Moon at the time, because they were also trying to do some G.I. Joe stuff as well, and that hasn't been going great either. And at the time, I'm just like, I think Paramount just doesn't know what to do with Hasbro properties. They don't understand the lore or anything at all. So I'm like, so I was just like, whatever. My hands were up in the air. I could always go back and watch the other shows, which I did end up doing after Dark of the Moon. Just get a little bit of a palate cleanser from what we had to sit through for 3 movies.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What was it, like 2012, 2013? They were announcing that we're going to make more Transformers films, and at the time they said that Michael Bay was not going to come back. They said they were going to get, a new directors, and they were have a whole writers room for it.
Probably would have been
Um,
better off.
oh yeah, absolutely. So things were looking up, I guess, because like I thought, okay, great. So they realized what they were doing with Michael Bay wasn't working. I mean, yes, were the movies profitable? Yes. Dark of the Moon, I think, was the first Transformers movie to make $1 billion. Each Transformers film made more and more money. Okay, financially, yeah, they were successful. But as far as critical, they were not loved at all. So it was good. They were getting this writer's room. Hopefully, this time around, we'll get a more coherent story. They'll actually know what to do with the franchise going forward. Okay, and then Michael Bay can go off and do other projects. But apparently, things changed. Negotiations have changed. um, so they brought back Michael Bay anyway.
Yes.
Just like, what? Why?
Yeah. So I heard that the reason, or that the thing that convinced him to come back, was him seeing how long the line was outside of the ride at like Universal Studios. That's what I heard, anyways. And if that's the case, like that's like that's really poor motivation to go and decide to make a movie. And like they wanted to stop at 3. He was advised to stop at 3 by Spielberg. Like he was like, "Hey man, stop." But
yeah. Now the other thing I heard of is that he was reluctant to come back. He came back, but he wasn't like the most enthusiastic about it. But like I kept hearing mixed reports of why he came back. Another rumor I heard is that like he didn't fully want to let go of the franchise, and like he wanted to dictate where the new direction of Transformers will go.
right.
So it's like he was going to direct more and more movie that will set up, that will open the door for like wherever they want to go after that point, and then he'll leave after that.
Right. That was another thing that was going around. I remember that too.
And then another thing I heard is that the only reason he came back to do a 4th movie is so that Paramount will be able to profit his other movie that he wanted to do, Pain and Gain, with Mark Wahlberg and the Rock and Anthony Mackie. Which might okay. I did see Pain and Gain, by the way, and I didn't like that movie at all. I know there's people that are fans of it, and I guess it feels more like with that movie, it felt like more in line with what he would usually do post Bad Boys 2 and stuff like that. And this was based on a true story from what I heard. And I don't know. I just didn't think the movie was all that good. I did think it was very funny. I thought it was very strange. And I don't know that much about what it's based off of with the real events, but apparently I heard that it wasn't very true to the events, and it was kind of insulting. But either way, okay, so you went through all that so you could do this Pain and Gain thing. Did you really need to negotiate with Paramount to get that made? Like, I was assuming.
I guess he wasn't really getting funding from anywhere else, which, considering his track record with the Transformers films, I'm not surprised.
I guess. And I guess which kind of makes sense of why Mark Wahlberg is in this film as well, because he was also in Pain and Gain. But okay, regardless of that, I was very worried. But with the new writers' room, I was hoping maybe with this writers' room, if they're working with Michael Bay, maybe this time we'll get a better story. I know, hopefully, right? So when the marketing started to rev up for this film, we saw that we were going to be introduced to Dinobots in this movie. I saw promo art for it, and there was some leaked stuff with the toys, and that got me really excited. I've been waiting for them to do Dinobots in the Transformers film, and I'm glad they're finally going to do it here. That was something I was worried they weren't going to do, because after the trilogy, I thought we weren't going to get any more. And then on top of that, they were going to have Lockdown in this movie, and I was excited about that. Because most recently when I was watching the shows, I saw the first introduction I've known about from Lockdown is Transformers animated, and I really liked
Hmm.
him in that show. So I'm glad that that he was able to make appearance in the live action. And then on top of that, now this was kind of strange, but I was still somewhat excited. Galvatron was going to be in this movie as well, and I was like, huh, okay, cool, Galvatron, right? I mean, no Unicron, so I don't know how they're gonna explain that. But I'm like, okay, cool, Galvatron. We're gonna get Galvatron in this movie, yeah. Um, and of course, when the trailers came out, see, Paramount does a really good job marketing these Transformers movies because
Hmm.
the trailer. I remember the Super Bowl spot that made everybody lose their minds. The first appearance that you see Optimus Prime riding on top of Gridlock, and I was just like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" And then we got the full trailer after, not too long after that, and this movie felt so different from the previous three movies. This one felt like more serious. This one felt more grand. This felt darker than the previous movies. Now, this feels like stuff we said before in the other trailers, but this is what I thought before. It's like, man, this looks so cool. This looks so different. The Dinobots. We got Galvatron in here. We got Lockdown. You got a whole bunch of crazy shit happening in China. Oh my God, look at all this. Optimus, like being more edgy and stuff like that. I was thinking, yeah, man, they actually got it right. There wasn't any silly humor for what I'm seeing. Mark Wahlberg looked good. Um, the actress that played Tessa, okay, a different girl, not a hot model, but I was like, okay, great, we're getting a little bit more relatable here. But anyway, the trailer looked fantastic. Um, Now, what also kind of gave me pause before I saw the movie, I saw that this is going to be the longest film of the Transformers movies. It was going to be 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I was like, wow, that's a long movie. There must be a lot that goes on in this film. There must be a lot of world building they're trying to do. Must be a bunch of crazy shit that happens. My dumb self thinking at the time, the when we heard that Galvatron was going to be in the movie, maybe they're hiding Unicron from the marketing. Maybe they're doing some stuff to build up Unicron. To like. I'm not expecting them to be like to full on appear in this movie, but maybe they'll do some hints and build up to maybe we'll see Unicron in the fifth movie. Maybe this is the type of creative stuff that the writers' room have cooked up for us. So I'm like, everything was looking up, man. New
Hmm.
cast, new designs, all that stuff. This looks like this possibly will be one of the best Transformers movies, at least on the same level as the first movie. Maybe it will be the best one. It looked like it will be better than the first Transformers movie. So yeah, I was excited. So sitting down and watching this in the theater, it was a completely different story. Wow. I feel bamboozled. I feel hoodwinked. I feel led astray. Wow. This movie is trash. This movie is awful. Rewatching it too, watching it for this review. As I said earlier, I was hoping this rewatch because like the last time I watched this movie was in 2014 when the year it came out.
Hmm.
So I was like, maybe after the long wait, maybe after we watch this, maybe I'll start to appreciate certain things that I didn't in the last one. Maybe there's stuff that I'm missing. Maybe I was too hard on it. Nope, I was the right amount of hard on it. Yeah, God, this movie's so bad. And okay, here's what I'll give with it, because it's like it's not all doom and gloom, at least on my end, because there are some things that aren't terrible in this movie. I kind of felt that once again, I did feel like Michael Bay was trying harder to make a better movie. the goofy, over the top. Well, actually, no. Let me take that back. The humans, the humans, they're not the racial stereotypes and like annoying characters that they were in 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like the lead characters, they're not. Mark Wahlberg is not screaming every 2 minutes like Shia LaBeouf did in Dark of the Moon. There's not any perverted like shots of models. Like, okay, well, okay, well,
There are a couple.
okay, yeah, but it wasn't as bad as it was the previous two.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and the designs of the Transformers, they're not as messy as they were in the previous films. Um, but I just this movie just feels so dull. I don't know. Everything just feels so hollow. I didn't feel a soul watching this movie. I know it's very strange to say about a Transformers film, but like, I literally felt nothing watching this. It just
Yeah.
felt like a series of a sequence of events happening. It's like going from one action set piece to the next action set piece to the next action set piece. Okay, I don't feel like the story's not that engaging. It's really not. The characters, while they're not as annoying, most of them are bland, very, very bland. And the man, we'll be here all day about all the stuff that was not from the lore of Transformers that they just made up in this movie. I was so frustrated. I was so frustrated with all the shit that they just changed from the lore. But yeah, that's probably one of my main issues is that like the Autobots in this film are terrible. They are awful. Bumblebee and Optimus aren't good in this movie either. It pains me to say that. It really pains me to say that. They did them dirty in this movie. They do not feel like the same characters that I grew up loving from the Transformers lore. They don't feel like characters anymore. Well, not like they felt like characters in the other movies, but like really, they just feel like special effects with temper tantrums. That's what they are. Like there's nothing engaging. There's nothing like it. I just feel nothing with these Transformers, and it's a shame that these filmmakers, these producers, think that these Transformers can't be three-dimensional characters, because they can be. And there's just creative choices that they do with these Transformers that I just can't get with. I can't get with at all. Like Optimus Prime being the peaceful warrior, gone. Absolutely gone. He's talking about killing humans all throughout this movie. He's mean-spirited. He's God. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Bumblebee is a acting like a ignorant child in this. No longer the puppy love that was from the previous movies. No, he's just an angsty teen in this movie. Oh my God. And then the other three Autobots, Jesus Christ, we'll get to that. And as far as the Mark Wahlberg and Nicola Peltz, I think that's the actress who played Tessa, and all the other characters, they're just like, I just didn't care about them at all. I did not. And once again, retconning shit that was from the previous movies. We're once again changing how did the Transformers come in contact with the Earth. For a fourth time, we are changing the origin of the Transformers. This stuff just doesn't make any sense. And then there's this whole plot with the humans are trying to get rid of all Transformers, whether they're Decepticons or Autobots. Okay, even though they just saved the world from the Decepticons, and now they're going to betray. You had 3 movies of Transformers wreaking havoc, of Decepticons wreaking havoc, and now you say it's too much after the Battle of Chicago to now you wanted to kill all the Transformers. But wait, you're going to make this deal with this other Transformer to help you hunt down the other Autobots and Decepticons.
That was probably my biggest problem with the film, man.
Jesus, what? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And if you were expecting Dinobots all throughout this movie, nope. This movie's 2 hours and 45 minutes, and you don't get Dinobots till 2 hours and 13 minutes in.
They don't even speak.
No.
They don't even speak. You don't hear one me Grimlock.
Oh, jeez, so much I didn't like in this movie. I'm sorry, guys. I tried. For people that don't know anything about Transformers, once again, I could see them having a good time with this. It's dumb fun. They don't care about the lore or whatever. They probably do think the Transformers are just special effects. But if you're a diehard Transformers fan, like Big B and I, this is an atrocity. So much wasted potential. Just like it, literally, it's just Michael Bay shitting on our childhood for 2 hours and 45 minutes. I could not stand this movie. But that's my truncated thoughts on Transformers: Age of Extinction. Let's go with you, Big B. What did you think about this mess?
So for starters, this was probably the first time, like, Transformers Age of Extinction was starting to get marketing and advertising around the time that I was really starting to dive into films and really wanting to, like, see all the behind the scenes stuff and follow everything up until a film's release, which even after this film, I've kept doing for every single film coming out. I don't know why. It's like it's like a bad train wreck for like these next couple films. I can't look away, but I want to look away, but I can't, and I keep coming back. But anyways, when it came to marketing for this film, and or like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that was like getting leaked and coming out, I was starting to feel pretty optimistic about it. You know, I heard like a lot of a few of the Autobots were returning. You know, mainly Bumblebee and Optimus, of course. You know, I heard that there were going to be some new Autobots that I actually really wanted to see live action interpretations of, like Drift, who I was a big fan of in like IDW comics, and Hound, who's been one of my favorite characters and one of my favorite designs ever since like G1. And you know, also hearing that Optimus was going to be a flat-nosed truck for a little bit of the movie, which I was like, oh, that's fantastic. That's awesome. I'm so glad to see that. But, you know, and then of course hearing about the Dinobots, and that was like a big thing. And then hearing about Galvatron was also like making me cautiously optimistic because, yeah, you know, we didn't hear that Unicron was going to be in there. And like when, you know, the first advertisements were coming out and like they showed, what was it? I think they showed Cybertron in a little bit of the advertising. And I was like, oh man, is that Unicron that they're showing, or is that Cybertron? Like, what are they doing? But I won't lie, a lot of my hype died when I saw the new Optimus design. And like, Nidus, I know you're in here, and I know you're a fan of Knight Optimus Prime, and I more power to you, man. But I do not like that design. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of like the original Bayverse Optimus design, but it at least has a lot of the things that make me say, oh, that's Optimus Prime. You know, he has the faceplate, he has the like truck windows on his chest, he has the kind of ab grill section, he has like the wheels on his legs, he has like a little bit of the smokestack kind of silhouette there. You know, you can tell that he turns into a truck, and you can tell that that's Optimus Prime. But the new design pretty much took most of that away. You still have the faceplate, you still have the smokestacks, but like everything else is just gone. Like, I think the design's a cool Transformers design, but not a good Optimus design. And you know, that was on top of like seeing other Transformers designs, you know, seeing how Galvatron looked. I was like, oh god. You know, seeing how Hound looked was just so as I kept seeing more of the Transformers designs, as I kept seeing like more of their initial renders, my hype just kept going down and down and down and down. And then, the movie came out, and I was like, oh, I'll go see it. I'll be a little more optimistic. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have been. The plot was just a mess. The human characters were all not likable at all. The cast was, outside of like the Transformers, was entirely miscast in my opinion. Like Mark Wahlberg had no business being in that role in my opinion. What's her name? Nicola Peltz, who already doesn't have the best track record because she ended up doing Avatar a few years before The Last Airbender.
Yeah, that live action atrocity by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, already was just like not the best choice, and then like she felt just bland. I forget the name of the actor who plays Cade's like assistant, who's there for like 10 minutes.
T.J. Miller.
Yeah, T.J. Miller. Like I was looking forward to seeing him on screen, and then he died 10 minutes in. And then they made him a creep throughout the parts that he was there. So it was like, that felt like a waste. A lot of the good actors that were in here felt like they were a waste. The Shane, that character felt like just a mess. And like even briefly getting into the Autobots a little bit, certain ones like Hound, I feel like should have been Ironhide, but that,
it shouldn't have killed him off.
Right. And he honestly didn't feel like a hero. Like a lot of his personality throughout the film, if you could even call it that, was that he just liked shooting and killing stuff. There's a part where they're on lockdown ship, and Hound says, that he just really wants to kill something. And he sees two of these little aliens in like a cage, and he says, "Oh, you too ugly to live." And then he just shoots them. It's like, that's supposed to be the hero?
Take it, bitch.
Right. Like, and then there's, yes, the George just brought that up. Good Lord. The Romeo and Juliet plot point that they went and had to jam into this film, that also just killed this movie for me. There's like one of the best titles for this film that I've seen by fans has been from Pointless Hub, and that has been Transformers: Age of Consent, because that was such a like there was so much just my thoughts are all over the place because the movie was all over the place. Even now watching it, it was just all over the place. Things just didn't make sense, like the humans hunting the Autobots after all they've done for them. The humans' motivations and reasons for wanting to do what they do. The Transformers were like the only people that I probably understood in the movie, because they're mad that they did all this stuff for the humans and then they're getting hunted. So they're like, yeah, we just want to leave. And I get it. I get it. Those were like the only characters that I was like really agreeing with. Everyone else was just, yeah. No, I hate this movie. I hate this movie a lot. I don't hate it as much as the next film, but I hate it a lot.
Oh yeah. The next one, I'm just like, but one trash at a time. So. You want to start with the humans, or you want to start with the Transformers?
Man, we might as well rip off the Band-Aid and go right for the humans, man.
Okay. Well, let's start with Marky Mark himself, Cade Yeager. You know what? I think I've come to the realization I'm not a big Mark Wahlberg fan.
Oh, neither am I. Personally, I think T.J. Miller should have been in his role. Personally, I wouldn't have minded if their roles were switched, but
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind that. I think there's not really been any movies I've seen from him where I really, really liked him, other than like Ted.
Yeah, Ted is probably like the only one. Like I feel like he's a good comedy actor, I feel like he's an average comedy actor, and certainly not a good drama and action movie actor.
Yeah, he's one of those movie stars where like there'll be certain movie stars where it's like they do play themselves, like but like they're entertaining to watch, like a Tom
Mhm.
Cruise or Keanu Reeves, The Rock. Mark Wahlberg is the anti-movie star for me. Lord, it's like he does his stick for most of his films, and it's not enjoyable to watch. It's really
Yeah, I feel like he would crush it in like a Red Band movie, but in something like this, no. And like like I don't think it helps that his character is played so like stereotypically American.
Yeah, it's like he's from Texas.
Right. He's from Texas. At the beginning of the movie, he throws a football. He's protective of his land and his daughter, and he's wanting to like live the American dream. And it's like,
Jesus Christ. He should definitely. There's not really a difference between Cade Yeager and whatever he was trying to do in Uncharted. I mean, Unfarted.
oh my
I mean,
God,
Uninspired.
I forget. I always block that movie from my mind.
God, man, I never even played the game. Like, I watched some videos on YouTube, like, to get a general idea of like what the feel is, and it's just like, nah, that was a misfire. I didn't understand that. But yeah, back to Cade Yeager. So Marky Mark, it's not. And here's the thing: it's not so much that like he's a bad actor. It's just that he's as you said, completely miscast.
Mhm.
I don't buy him as an inventor.
Neither do I. I totally would have bought him. Like I said, if T.J. Miller and Mark Wahlberg switched roles, I would have totally believed Mark Wahlberg as like the assistant. The guy who doesn't really know a lot of the techie stuff, but he's like, I'm here. You're paying me, right?
Right. Actually, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, that makes a lot
I
more
could totally
sense.
believe T.J. Miller. If they gave him the role, I could believe him as like this kooky inventor who's like a little bit crazy, a little bit too overprotective, and like turns into like the hero by the end of the film. Whatever. I could at least believe that.
Is this Michael Bay trying to break the stereotype of like hot people can be smart too? Like I don't know. It just seems so goofy with him putting on his glasses and him tweaking with the bots or whatever. And
like I was checking out at multiple times when his character was on screen, but I think I ultimately checked out when he cracked a Bud Light open on a dude's car.
Bud Light product placement, baby.
There was so much product placement in this movie too that it was just like, yeah.
Normally, I don't mind product placement in a film, because like that's the stuff they got to do to pay for the movie, and you see stuff in the real world like that, so it's like I don't mind it as long as it's not literally shoved in your face like it is in this movie. Literally,
it was so excessive.
God, it also when Stanley Tucci was playing with the transformium, and it turns into the.
Like what?
Wow!
Why?
And you had the nerve to go from a pill to a gun. Like, what kind of transition is that? Okay.
I mean, that was probably like the second most like in your face that the product placement was, because I mean, Bud Light I think was probably like the most, and then following in third place was probably Oreo Bot, but that's
Oreo Bot.
Yeah.
Christ, man. That was so random. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, I'll say like up until stuff started to blow up with the car chase, like other than the inventor stuff that I thought was pretty goofy, I did kind of thought it was okay. The stuff with him and Tessa, I thought that stuff was okay. It wasn't great, but I was like, they have something going on with the father and daughter thing.
Yeah, they gave them some moments. I'll at least say in terms of like inter-character stuff, like Cade and Tessa had the best, I guess, chemistry there, but that's really not saying much when you look at the whole of the movie.
Yeah, I would just say like probably the first 15-20 minutes I was like, you know what? This is not too bad. This is okay. That was the part of the stuff that was okay. It wasn't anything great, but I was like, all right, I'm not hating this. I can
Hmm.
see where this could go. This could go pretty well if they're stay focused. And then we already talked about TJ Miller in this. Honestly, I kind of liked him a little bit. He
I
was
liked him. They just kind of made him a little too creepy, but like he
Yeah,
was fine.
it didn't need the whole Tessa looks like a hot teen, like we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
need
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
often.
yeah, yeah. He was like, I think she looks hot, and he was like, what? And I was like, that's a
What?
very logical response for a father to have when this grown man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like that was weird. But like other than that, like he stood out because he actually had a little bit more personality than most of the other characters in this
Yeah,
movie. I
yeah.
mean, was it silly? Yeah, but like TJ Miller, he does his humor like it could be annoying, but it comes off in an endearing way. Like he's so likably dumb, you know. So I don't know, like.
They, to be honest, like, and it's sad that they killed him off because yeah, he was like the goofy character. Because it
Mhm.
seems almost like a lot of the best characters in these films are the goofy ones. Like you look at the first film, and in my opinion, the best character in that one was probably Anthony Anderson. You know, as Glenn. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
so it's yeah, no, it's no surprise that he's probably like one of the best characters in this film, but it's sad that they just wasted him in like 20 minutes in.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. But yeah. So like to talk a little bit more about Nicola Peltz's Tessa. Honestly, I thought she was okay the first 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes, I'm like, yeah, this she's actually pretty likable, and it's like
Yeah.
she's not. They're not treating her like the typical model like they do with the previous movies. They actually try to give her a little bit of character and a little bit more of a dynamic between her and Mark Wahlberg. As I said, the father and daughter stuff. They losing their mother when she was very young, and being very overprotective over her. I mean, we've seen that type of storyline before, but like
Hmm.
something about this was like it still came off kind of charming for, like I said, the first 20 minutes. I was like, this is okay. This is all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
There were some strange dialogue though here and there. It was like when she was with her girlfriends and they drop her off at
Yeah,
home, and
she
she was
said
like,
something
"Gotta get a tan and get wasted."
that was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
come
yeah,
on.
yeah. I rewatched that scene and I was just sitting there like, oh god, is this what Hollywood thinks teenagers are like?
Yeah, that is not what teenage girls do. Well, I mean, well, no,
Uh,
there are teenage girls that do that, but they don't like
yeah.
blatantly just say that like
Yeah,
that.
they
Like,
don't like yell it in
what?
public or whatever. They're very discreet about it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's just okay. Wow. All right, y'all been watching too many early 2000s teen comedies,
Right. I'm like, oh
but
wow, did you guys watch Mean Girls before you made this movie? Like,
right, no. But yeah, the stuff where it's like Mark Walt, like Cade. Can we talk about this name, Cade Yeager?
oh my god.
What kind of a name is that, Cade Yeager? What the fuck? Get it? Cause Yeager, like giant robot. Cause there's giant robots in this movie. You
Yeah.
get the
What?
parallels?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
freaking
they
god!
were probably yep. They were probably sitting there like, oh man, Pacific Rim was really cool. What have we
Literally,
made?
literally, did Pacific Rim come out not too long after,
A
not too
year
long before
before
this?
it. A year before it.
Yeah, yeah. They looked at that, was like, yeah, Jaeger, yeah, yeah. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no. But anyway, the stuff with Kate, so Tessa Yeager. I wonder how that goes with when she goes to school and she has to say her last name. Tessa Yeager, when they're doing attendance.
Yeah.
Tessa Yeager.
Jaeger bomb.
Oh my god, yeah, she's taking a bunch of Jaeger bombs, getting
Right.
wasted.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
woo! Oh my god. But the stuff with Cade being over obsessive about making that great invention and him being behind on payments on the house and like Tessa being worried about him, like that stuff I like came close to being somewhat endearing. It is though, I will say, like with him missing all those payments and eviction notices, I'm very shocked they live in such a nice home on the prairie.
Well, you saw
with
us
a
because he kept
barn.
attacking the realtors.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Okay, so stealing people's power from next door and whatever. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
wow. How?
I-
Go
I
ahead.
also want to point out with Cade Yeager the fact that he never actually invents anything. Like he does, like all the stuff that he invented in the movie is stuff that already exists. You know, a painting robot, a robot that gets you, you know, stuff from like the fridge or something like that, a robot dog. That's like in Toys R Us, or that was, sorry, because Toys R Us is gone in the States. That was in Toys R Us's everywhere. You know, like he never really invents anything.
He
And
can't even make a
like
robot that can paint the wall. Like,
yeah,
come
and
on.
like all the like all the stuff that he invents like hardly even works. And you know, Caravan of Garbage made a really good point where like they mentioned, you know, that he wanted to take Optimus Prime's technology and apply it to his inventions. Buddy, you can't comprehend that technology. You can't make a robot that can paint properly. You are not figuring out how a transformer works.
Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening. You can't even make a bot that can bring people beers.
Yeah.
And you're trying to mess with Transformers? Like, no. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I just felt so goofy. Like, on top of the fact that it's strange that Mark Wahlberg is an inventor, he's not even a good one. So it's like when he does his other like, you know, tinkering with stuff later on in the movie, I'm just like, wait a minute, how are you able to do this? You like,
I mean,
like
most
there's
of
no
his
way.
most of his inventing comes down to him being like, "Oh, this is an alien gun. I think I can figure out my way around this. Oh, would you look at that? I figured out my way around this alien gun. Cool. I'm gonna use it now for the rest of the movie."
And how are their guns as small as a human? How are
That was the
Transformers?
other thing. That was the other thing where I was sitting there like, you know, it's weird that these ships are conveniently small enough for a human to pilot. It's pretty weird that there are exactly like 3 guns that are human sized that can fit for the exact 3 humans in the scene. You know, it's really weird.
What? Yeah, I'm just like they're shaped like swords, but you can shoot them like guns, and a human can hold it fine. Like, okay, so that's just lazy writing. That's
Mhm.
just lazy writing right
And like
there.
I get it that like the Quintessons who, you know, you see in the next movie are human sized. I get that. So I mean,
Do
you
you
know,
see them in the next movie? Do you
well,
though?
you see one, but like, you know, it's like, okay, you know, I get it. They're human sized. They probably have human sized weapons, but why would they need them when they have mind powers? So that's like, you know, why do those weapons even exist? Why are they there? Why are they there? Why are the ships human sized? Why is that a thing?
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know. All right, moving on with Shane, Tessa's boyfriend.
Mr. needs a seat on Dateline NBC over there. The moment I realized like on the second watching just how suspicious I felt about that character. The second that I realized, wait, he was prepared and had that card in his wallet.
Oh, you mean the Romeo and Juliet laws?
Mhm.
Jesus.
That
Fucking
apparently,
Christ.
you know, when you look at the movie trivia, isn't even all correct. It's still illegal what he's doing.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sorry.
I'm wondering, like, what executive is sitting there like, oh, we need to include this in the movie. Like, Just age up the character. Just age up the characters, or age down, or de-age, Shane's character. That's all you needed to do. You didn't need the card with Romeo and Juliet laws on it.
Literally, and that card is not accurate at all because I actually looked. I saw the trivia that they put on like Amazon or whatever when you pause on that scene. But I did more research on this. Apparently, what the actual what Romeo and Juliet law says is that anyone between the ages of 14 and 17 can legally give consent to have sex with someone within 3 years of their age. 3 years. Mm-hmm. Tessa is 17. Shane is 20. That's breaking the law.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did they think that through when they were writing this bullshit in the script? They couldn't even be accurate to the law that they literally stopped the movie to explain to us. It's not even accurate. As you said, why didn't they just make Tessa 18? Or why didn't they just make Shane 18 or something? Like, it just
it would have made sense too, because sure, race car drivers drive young. Sure, 18 years old, that works. And then they make it even creepier because the following scene they're all cuddled up on each other, and it's like, oh no,
no, this is still illegal. Just because you pull out the card and explain it doesn't mean it's not illegal.
Right. Like you're sitting there like, here's my 3-month-old receipt, therefore I can return this purchase. Like,
that just made no sense to me.
Like, I also found myself sitting there on the second watching, like, what does this have, like, even the slightest inkling to do with Transformers?
Nothing.
Yeah,
nada.
That has nothing to do with the overall plot or even the inter-character plot at all. That's just a wrench they threw in there. They didn't have to do that. It could have just been Mark Wahlberg being like, "Oh, I don't approve of my daughter, having a boyfriend or anything, that's, oh, you crazy kids." It didn't have to be, "I don't approve of her having a boyfriend. Also, you're way too old."
That's the thing. Like, there was already the conflict that Cade didn't want Tessa to date. So he already wouldn't like Shane because of that.
Right.
But why did you have to add this other thing of that he's dating a minor? Like,
yeah, because now you got Mark Wahlberg sitting there like contemplating calling the police on this guy, like,
and he should. Honestly, he should.
He should have.
Like, man, I just don't understand. And then also, before the whole sequence with the chase thing, they even had, even though I said like there wasn't as many pervy shots of women, Michael still had a camera right up Tessa's ass.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought he was being smart too, like being like, Mark was being like, honey, your shorts are getting shorter by the second. Cold air dry, please. Like, no, that still is pervy what you're doing. He thought he was being slick. Like, no.
Yep. That reminds me, man, there is a trend in like that movie of doing just the thing that you shouldn't do, where you mock, trying to be meta, right? You're mocking the thing that, probably shouldn't be done in films, and then you're immediately doing that. Like, even in the first 5 minutes of the film, Mark Wahlberg and these two people and TJ Miller and these two people that own this theater that he's walking through are talking about, movies are the problem, it's sequels and reboots, all of them, it's all garbage. How are you going to talk about how sequels and reboots are garbage and then make a garbage sequel / reboot? How are you going to do that? And then the whole shot of the whole shot of Tess, and then sitting there and being like, "Oh, your shorts are too short." Okay, then stop. You can't do that and then mock it at the same time. It's not. It wasn't funny in the theater. It's not funny here with Tess. It's never funny in this movie.
Yeah, this one of you pointed out a major problem with people that are trying to be meta and making fun of stuff that doesn't work. It the stuff you're making fun of, if you're going to make fun of it, you make it better. It doesn't automatically make what you're doing clever if you're making fun of how bad you are.
Right. It
But,
would have been fine if like they were like, oh, garbage reboot slash sequels, they're all garbage. And then if he made this sequel slash reboot fantastic, okay, by all means, mock him. You outdid him, but
yeah. But yeah, you're man, Michael Bay is lucky that Nicola Peltz was of age when she did this film.
dude. Dude.
Just like, cause if she was actually 17 and he was doing that shit, oh yeah, there would be some issues. Which once again, it just blows my mind. Why didn't you just make her Why did you just make her eight? What was she? Nicola was like 18 or 19.
She
when
was
she did
19.
This. 19. You could have made her 19.
Mm-hmm.
You could have made her.
You could have said that she was 22. You could have said that, like, oh, she's 20. She's still trying to get into college.
Yes.
Cool.
Fine. Whatever. Stupid. But anyway, going back to Shane, he's very bland. He's probably the most bland character in this entire movie.
Well, he's not only bland, but he regresses as a character. He starts off as like the super heroic type. He literally murders a man by flying his car over his face. They have a whole slow-mo shot of it and everything.
Oh my god.
And by the end of the film, he's sitting there cowering behind a pillar like, I can't do this, Mark. I can't do this. And then he gets up and it's like, I give up. I give up.
Did you or anybody else here thought that when you saw that the car the tire hit the guy in the face, did anyone else think that was a transformer? Because that seems like something a transformer would do, right?
Yes, when he was like alone in the field, I was like, oh, that feels like a transformer. But it was the boyfriend, which for what reason? For what reason would the boyfriend just suddenly decide, oh, I'm just gonna park out in this field? And then like what, for what reason? Like what prompted that? I mean, I understand, to move the plot forward and to like fully introduce this character, but like,
yeah, because like
it's a little creepy. It's a little creepy. Besides the whole Romeo and Juliet stuff, it's creepy.
Yeah, it's like did Tessa know that they were going to be in danger, and so she called Shane? Or
I don't think she did, because like the last time you really see her in contact with him is like during that scene when they're bringing Optimus in, and she's like, oh, wait a minute, and then just hangs up, and it's like, so he wouldn't have known. So it's like, this dude's just a creep. Just overall, he's a creep. He's a creep and a murderer. He's a creep and a murderer. Like,
yeah. As you said, he did regress as a character because he was all macho and cool in the first half. We see him, and then as
he was talking all big to Mark and everything.
And then he just he turns into a bitch when he has to fight the Transformers. So I'm like, oh wow, okay, Tessa, you can do better. But yeah, okay. Stanley Tucci. Is Stanley Tucci? He's the big corporation guy that creates Transformium, and
and he redeems himself at the end, kind of, maybe, sort of, not really.
Yeah.
The British lady that follows him around says that he redeemed himself, so I mean, I guess he redeemed himself.
Yeah, this lady, and yeah, she was fine. She kind of reminded me of that girl, the blonde girl from the first movie.
The one hacker lady,
the hacker,
yeah.
She felt a lot like her. But yeah, she was fine. Kelsey Grammer, he was great in this, but it felt like he should have been in a different movie.
Yes, fantastic actor, fantastic. Honestly, I think he played that character really well for what he was given.
Yeah.
But man, like he felt underdeveloped, and he also felt like he should have been in like a different movie, like another like alien invasion movie or something like that. Yeah. But like, they didn't really unless I'm not remembering, unless I'm like mentally blocking parts of my second watching of this movie from my mind, they didn't really give him a motivation for why he's all like anti-transformer. He's just evil government man being evil government man.
Yep.
And it's also weird because even though there are so many posters around, like with like wanted posters for Transformers, and even though they talk about at the start of the movie how the government openly denounces the Autobots, for some strange reason they felt the need to like soft retcon that with a government dude approaching, I forget his name already, but approaching like I forget his character's name, but they have like a government representative approaching him and saying, hey, where are all the Autobots at? Oh, well, they're gone. Well, how exactly are you getting rid of the Decepticons? And it's like, wait, so you're not killing the Autobots, but you're not doing anything about them killing the Autobots? So you're like, that's why I say the plot of this movie is so all over the place, because it's like, that's not realistic at all. If the government, like, if a bunch of higher ups in the government caught wind that the Splinter Cell was like sitting there hunting down the good guys, they'd put him out of commission immediately, jail him for war crimes and all that. But like,
yeah, that's the thing. It's like we don't know if the U.S. government is behind them hunting the Transformers, or the CIA is hunting the Transformers.
So that's the thing. They feel the need to soft retcon and clarify. Oh yeah, the U.S. government approves of the Autobots at least, and they don't want them getting hunted down. And it's like, well, so why are you denouncing them? Why are you letting these people hunt them? Like I what?
Yeah, what? And then on top of that, you hire another Transformer that's not an Autobot or Decepticon to help you hunt down other Transformers.
Yeah, this person who clearly doesn't care whether humans live or die, and you're like, yeah, we'll trust him.
Like, what the? I thought you hate all Transformers.
The last time that you decided to trust a Transformer that showed up out of nowhere, out of space, the Battle of Chicago happened. So, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, I guess. But
oh my god, so fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, it was dumb for them to ever trust Gunface McGee. That's like.
Gunface.
Yeah, and like that's the other thing too, is that Lockdown kind of. I mean, we'll get to him, but like Lockdown was probably like one of my favorite robots in the film. It's like that's kind of sad, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, yes. And then there was what's his name, Savoy, the main like ops guy, whatever, and
he wanted to be cool so bad.
He did. That one exchange that he has with Kate when he's searching his house is like, You don't have a warrant? My face is my warrant.
Yeah. He's sitting there like, what kind of person betrays his own flesh and blood for a man made of robots or whatever, for an alien? He's like, okay, they had like, they wanted him to be cool so bad, but I couldn't take him seriously. I laughed when he got out of his like government vehicle and they had that slow-mo shot of him in the trench coat and like removing his shades and everything. And I was like, this is ridiculous.
That Michael Bay Stinger.
Right. We got the secret police here. This is ridiculous.
Oh, freaking silly. It's like overly macho for no freaking reason.
Right. Like he was like, they had him like, throwing out like military lingo that sounded like it might have been military lingo. Like, the whole scene with Ratchet, which forgot to mention, credit where credit's due. The action scenes in this film are shot really well. But like, the whole scene with Ratchet, he's just like breaking steel. He's just like they wanted him to be cool so bad, but I couldn't take him seriously at all.
No. Just
he's a government nerd. He's
a government nerd. Oh my gosh.
He's a nerd with a gun. He's a nerd with a gun. That's what he is.
Yep, that's exactly what he is. And then Stanley Tucci's business partner, she randomly gets a role in this.
Yeah,
Lee Bing Bing. I'm actually a fan of hers. I've seen her in other stuff, and
Hmm.
she's pretty good. But yeah, like there was no reason to elevate this character's role as much as she did. I okay, and then Stanley Tucci's trying to hook up with her too, and I'm like, oh my god, why?
Right. He was trying, like, 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 like I said, the best intercharacter relation was between Cade and Tess, which isn't saying much, but that is to say that like every other intercharacter relation and conflict just felt so forced and not not believable in the slightest, and that's one of them.
Yeah, yeah,
And like it just added to how annoying that like the George just said, actually just added to how annoying the Stanley Tucci's character felt.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So. So as I said, the first 20 minutes of this movie, I was not hating. It was okay. I was like, all right, well, it's fine. I'll say the movie started to fall apart when T.J. Miller died.
Yeah,
That was, yep, that was where everything just started to crash and burn. I'm just like,
it felt like
wow,
two different movies, to be honest. Like yeah, those first 20 minutes felt like a nice like coming of age, like like the father needs to let go of their child, let them leave the nest kind of story. And then the rest of the
yeah.
movie is like horrifying sci-fi alien invasion. We're gonna like brutalize people kind of stuff. And it was like, okay.
Ooh, dude, yeah. But I gotta say, after that car chase, okay, so actually so Shane and Tessa built a ramp in an abandoned uh warehouse, and
Yeah.
okay.
Somehow she snuck out to do that with her overprotective father.
Well, I mean, he does let her go out with her friends, so like maybe while she's out, she does that stuff. I don't
He
know.
seems like the kind of dad to say be home by 7. All right, that's like
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, okay. Um, and okay, so after the car chase, though, what I will say, in my opinion, Michael Bay is all about his explosions. It's cars, exotic cars, women, and explosions. I gotta say, in this movie, he did probably the most impressive explosions he's ever done in a film.
Oh, definitely.
I'm gonna say in this movie right now, when Lockdown activates that grenade that kills TJ Miller, and it unleashes lava, and then explosions come out of the lava and they're running from that. That was the sickest explosion I have ever seen Michael Bay do.
Oh yeah, that was like Michael Bay at his finest. And like when I saw that grenade like explode, I felt the same feeling that I felt when like Jango Fett first like launched off his like
Seismic charges?
seismic charges. It was like, oh, it's so cool. I want to see that weapon, more and more stuff. But,
Yeah, yeah. That's the one puzzle I want to give to Michael Bay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like as you said, like this is a very well directed movie as far as action and set pieces and explosions. I mean, we've praised them before, but like yeah, in this movie is very well done. I just had to say that one explosion that he did with the grenade, like I was like my jaw dropped when I saw that in the theater.
Like,
I was like, wow.
yeah. Unfortunately, I feel like this movie is when Michael Bay hit his stride with having action scenes for these movies, and it's so sad that it had to be this movie.
It had to be this piece of garbage. But yeah, man. All right. Well, let's transition into the Transformers. Before we talk about the individual Transformers, let's talk about retcon number 3 of the origins of the Transformers. So let's do a recap, shall we? In the first movie, they said the first contact humans had with the Transformers was Megatron crash landing in the Arctic chasing after the Allspark. In the second movie, they established that wasn't the first contact. It was actually natives thousands of years ago worshipping the Primes and the Fallen. But no, in the third movie, that wasn't the case. Apparently, Sentinel Prime crash landed on the moon during the events of the first landing on the moon. And now in this movie, they established that there are aliens that came down at millions of years ago during the Cretaceous period that blew up all the dinosaurs, turned them into metal, and turned them into Transformers.
Yep.
What the actual fuck?
There was no such thing as the meteor. It was the Transformers. It was always the Transform. It's so weird too, because like that origin, as well as like some of the stuff that Lockdown hints at, it's like, oh, there are other like alien creatures in this universe. That's cool because G1 does the same thing, the comics do the same thing. Let's see where they go with that. They go nowhere. They have like the alien hands show up and be like, oh, we're gonna create whatever, and then you never see them again.
Yeah, like what? Oh.
It's like, well, they seem like they should play a major role because you're saying that they created the Transformers, so it's like, okay, we should probably see them more. Maybe we should see them more in the next film. We don't.
Nope.
We don't.
You're just here, and then they're not in the last night. Okay, and then this whole stuff of them. So these aliens created Transformers with metal that they made from organic life. Okay,
yeah.
So
didn't they call it the seed or something like that?
Seed.
Yeah, the seed. Which is like, oh, okay, that's all right.
That's a weird ass name too. The seed.
Yeah, We have the Allspark, the Matrix, the Pillars, and the Seed.
It's like, okay, wow. How do any of these MacGuffins work with one another? Beats me. I thought the creation of the Transformers was the Allspark. Maybe if they said that they created the Allspark as well, maybe it would have made more sense. But no.
There are so many like that completely throws everything that you know from the first film out the window, because the first line in Transformers 2007 is, before time began, there was the cube. We know not where it comes from, only that it is responsible for all life. And that's not even correct.
That's not even correct. I'm just like, what is going on? Why do they keep doing this? Stick with the continuity, please. I'm begging you.
There is nothing. There is nothing that is concrete in that universe.
Nothing.
There is nothing.
And then it just gets fucking ridiculous. It just gets fucking ridiculous when we get to the last night. It gets even worse, and we didn't think it could get worse than this. No, they just don't give a fuck in the next movie.
Yeah. They changed the they changed the lore every movie.
Every movie. It's not like it's every film's a reboot. Like what is
everyone people like to complain that with like Rian Johnson versus J.J. Abrams with Star Wars doing like their little retcons there. Okay, I get that, but why aren't more people complaining about how there's literally a retcon every single Transformers movie? And yes, I'm including Bumblebee in there because even though that's a reboot, it wasn't, or even though it turned into a reboot, it wasn't initially meant to be a reboot. So that also retconned everything.
Yeah, man, it's like, bruh, I comparing this to like the continuity of the X-Men as well, because they retcon so much shit in those movies. Like,
there was one person I saw that was like, their headcanon was every Transformers movie is an alternate universe, and I was like, you know what? That's fair. That makes sense.
Oh God, man, I've heard that theory before. Except they tried to explain why is the continuity of the MCU in Phase 4 is all over the place, and that's one of the theories I heard about, is that every movie is its own continuity. It's in a different timeline, which I'm like, that's interesting, but
that's interesting. But in that case, don't market it as a sequel.
Yeah, why?
Like if you're gonna change the origins and the lore for every movie, just call every film Transformers. No subtitle, just Transformers.
Well, yeah. Even though I'm pretty sure, like we want to see certain characters, you know, in sequels continue on. So,
You do, but you're gonna get the bare minimum in those movies anyways. So,
which we did. Which we did.
yeah.
So okay, but yeah, it just blows my mind that they can't stick with anything. Or this quote unquote writers room that they have, they couldn't look at all the other previous retcons and try to mend it somewhat.
You know what? I'm subscribing to one of two theories. Either A, they have a rotating writers room like every 2 months, or B, they all have short-term memory loss. Every single one.
Yeah,
Like,
must be the case. Okay, so going back to that alien hand, I did want to ask you this. I'm probably way off kilter on this, but like when I saw this alien hand, for some reason, I thought that was their way of teasing the quintessons.
well, so you're right. It was because like Lockdown straight up says Quintessa, the person you see in the next movie is who is a Quintesson, is their creator, and it's like okay, so that's what the Quintessons are gonna look like in this movie. They don't look like that apparently, which is like okay, then what was that? What was that? Who was that?
Yeah, what was the point of bringing this alien hand if that's not the actual design of the Quintessons? Right.
Like, are you saying that the Quintessons evolved to go from flesh to metal? Because how did that happen?
Yeah, like at first I thought that was their variation of doing something like how the prosecutor looked, because he has some sort of mystical organic thing going on.
Right, which I would have been down to see that like fully realized as like a Quintesson, especially if they did like the multi-faces thing, because like okay, that genuinely makes that character horrifying because you got this flesh monster with alternate faces. Yeah. Cool, but
no, not none of that. None of that. Giving this movie too much credit. All right, let's get into. Let's talk about these Transformers. Let's start with Optimus Prime. Man, look what they did to my boy.
Look at how they massacred my boy. Let me start by saying that one consistency besides the design that they like completely tossed out the window for these movies. Remember how at the end of every single Transformers film, Optimus always has an inspirational speech where he talks about, we will always be here. We're defending, whatever. The ending speech for this movie, Optimus simply says, I had it written down. Oh yeah, he said, when you look at the stars, think of one of them as my soul. And then he flies away.
Yeah, I mean, he also says that he also is sending a message to the creators, being like, "Leave planet Earth alone, cause I'm coming for you."
Yeah, and then he dies in space. I'm coming for you. Oh wait, I didn't realize how cold the vacuum of space is. Like,
oh god, man. I did not like Optimus Prime in this movie. The peaceful warrior is gone.
Yeah,
he's not in this movie.
I didn't like it either, and I've already talked about how much I hate the design. But at the same time, like I said, the Transformers are the only characters I can understand. I can understand why Optimus Prime is this way. I don't agree with it, but I can understand why. All of his friends are dead. The humans killed him, or his mentor killed them. He sees footage of his friends getting brutalized by these humans. He sees that they are being used to make, like, just trifling, like, everyday products like the pill or like a gun. He gets told to his face by Stanley Tucci that we own you. Like, yeah, of course he'd be mad. Of course anybody would be mad. Anybody would say we're just going to abandon the humans. Humans have been saying that about humans for years now. So,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Similar to you, I do understand why he would be this way. Like, yeah, as
yeah.
you said, because of all the shit that he went through. Yes.
Yes, but at the same time, he's supposed to be that Superman type, infallible, like absolutely, like he sticks to his guns no matter what. He's like, because like he even mentions in the first film when they're torturing Bumblebee, and Ironhide is like, or no, it's Jazz. It's like, we're really just gonna like let them do this, whatever. Why do we defend these humans? They're so primitive and brutal. And Optimus is like, were we so different?
Yeah, yeah. I
So
love that stuff. And there's one specific issue I have with how they're depicting him in this movie. Because yes, he would be mad about all of his friends being killed off by the humans and all that. However, shouldn't he feel a little bit of responsibility of why this ended up the way it did?
yeah, I
Because
mean, it is his fault.
yeah, if it wasn't for him resurrecting Sentinel Prime, we wouldn't have been in the situation that we've been in the with the Battle of Chicago and all that stuff. And in a way, as I said, with that thing, what's her name in the third movie? That
Oh, the government lady, yeah.
yes, while she was being an ass, she ended up being right about
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Like putting checks and balances on the Transformers. She did that for a reason. But Optimus being so trusting, brought Sentinel Prime back to life, not knowing what Sentinel Prime's true intentions were, and that almost cost the entire planet. So I
Yeah.
would think in this movie, yes, while he would be mad about his friends being killed, he would be like, "This is all my fault. I'm not a good.
Right. I did this.
Yep, I'm not a good leader.
Mhm.
I caused all this destruction. Like,
Nah, he doesn't care though. I mean, he even that's another way he feels like such a like diversion from like his actual character is like when the Dinobots show up, he gives them an ultimatum. He says, "Defend my family or die." It's like, what, Optimus?
or early on in the movie when he meets back up with the rest of the Autobots and they're forming a plan or whatever, he says, "You guys know I made a vow to never harm any humans, but when I find out who's behind this, he's going to die." I'm like,
I mean, he does. He kills the government dude.
he killed Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, he killed Kelsey Grammer just like on a whim. Like Kay was getting like pinned up against the pillar, and he's just like in the middle of fighting lockdown. He's like, oh, hold up. All right.
Jesus Christ! It felt like I got slapped. Like,
right. It was like it's just that easy for you to abandon your code, just that quick. You're just to be no like moral dilemma of like I shouldn't kill him because I swore to protect the humans. I don't know if I should do this. Just real quick. Boom. All right. Anyways.
Well, literally, all that went out the window when he said, "When I find out who's behind this, I'm gonna kill him." Like, so we know it's coming, or we were hoping that he would see the error of his ways and not do it, but no, he does it anyway. I'm like,
yeah, you can't show a gun at the beginning of the movie and not fire it by the end.
So now I know how Superman and Batman fans feel in Batman v Superman when they say like, "No, this shouldn't kill."
Oh yeah. Now you get it.
Now I get it.
I'm someone who felt the betrayal on both of those fronts. so
yeah, man, this just felt so. It just felt so distasteful, and it's like, once again, I always say this: it's not that like he can't go through this type of development, but it's that the writers are so lazy with developing the Transformers as characters, so when they make these choices, it doesn't feel organic, and it just feels like a betrayal to the characters. It's just all throughout the movie, he's like, "I'm gonna kill this person, I'm gonna tear him apart, I kill you." Like,
and
Peter Cullen must have been like,
oh, he hated doing the stuff for that role. He hated it. and you can tell by his delivery. And
Yeah.
like, man, and like you can't even give them the benefit of the doubt and say, well, if they had a longer movie, maybe they could develop it. This was a long movie.
Again, 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do anything.
You know you're in for a treat when literally Optimus Prime's first line was, he points a gun at Cade Yeager, like pistol whips TJ Miller, and says, "I'll kill you."
I just, oh my god.
There's also, while we're talking about Optimus Prime, there is like a little bit of like things that fans have pointed out that like I kind of noticed, and I'm kind of accepting that as canon. That when he's booting up, it kind of sounds like one of the little mumbling things he says is "Run, Sam," kind of implying that Sam died between the movies. And,
oh yeah, that's one thing we haven't talked about. Where is Sam, Michaela, or Carly? Where
apparently
are they at?
dead.
And John Turturro's character, where is he at? Simmons.
Well, he's alive, but everyone else is dead.
Yeah, I forgot that he does make an appearance in Last Night, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, so Sam, Michaela, and Carly are dead now?
Supposedly? I mean, that's what seems to be the widely accepted thing, so...
And if that's the case, fuck you!
Right. Why'd you off-screen the main character of your previous trilogy?
This is the part where I say don't question what happens off screen, but I'm questioning all of that shit. Like,
it was literally the main character. That's like if you know, spoilers for Cowboy Bebop. Like that's like if at the end of Cowboy Bebop they were like, oh yeah, and Spike died off screen. Huh?
like, oh my god, man, I choose not to believe it. Maybe he's alive somewhere and he's just off the grid. I can't accept that they just kill him off screen like that. I can't accept.
Does that at least mean that the parents are dead?
I'm okay with them dying. Like, if they're dead, bye. See you later. Like, no, man. I can't.
Right. Like, I would have loved to see like a battle-hardened Sam that's maybe been like running for his life and trying to harbor Autobots for like the past few years or something in this film, or like, you know, government agent Sam, you know, who didn't know that the Autobots were being hunted, finds out towards the middle of the film, and then has to have like this whole redemption arc for like the rest of the film. I would have loved that. And I mean, I get that like Shia LaBeouf may have been going through like some sort of controversies at the time, but still, man.
It would have been perfect to see a grizzled Sam because we see how Shia LaBeouf is now. He's more grizzled.
Right. I would have loved to see, you know, with his like new like Nordic hairstyle. Yeah, I would have loved to see that in Age of Extinction. Just even if he appeared towards like the middle or end of the film, that would have been nice. It would have been nice.
Or even if they want to bring Michaela back, they could. I mean, I guess they could still go with the plot of Sam and Michaela breaking up, which I don't like, but maybe they could just be like, Michaela's a drifter or whatever, doing her own thing. And
I mean, they could even say like, oh, you know, if they wanted to go with Sam being dead, okay, Sam's dead. You know, Michaela is kind of taking over Sam's place as like the main ally of the Autobots, you know, in his memory or something. I don't, you know, something like that.
That would have been cool. But it's a shame. Such a shame. But yeah, to go back to Optimus, I agree with you. I am not a fan of this design. I don't like it. Is it a bad design on its own? No. It's a cool little knight kind of stuff that they're going for. But other than his head, it doesn't look like Optimus.
Yeah,
like
they could have said that this was Ultra Magnus and just like recolored it a little bit. And that would have been cool. I would have believed that. I would have believed that.
Yeah.
Because you know, Ultra Magnus didn't really have many truck parts on him anyways. So I would have believed that.
But no, this is Optimus. Like, I barely see any red on him. Like, he's 70%. He's like 80% blue and 20%
Yeah, that
red.
man is blue dabba dee dabba die. All right, that is.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, I mean, I appreciate that. Like with these designs, they feel more slender. They're not as messy and all over the place like the other designs are. But just like, yeah, it's just looking less and less like the characters. And we've already had a hard time with them trying to change certain designs with the characters. We're about to get to in a minute. But yeah, and then like the actual the actual truck. Okay, it was already far-fetched that in the first three movies that there was the flat nose truck with the flames, I guess, but this vehicle standing out even more than the flat nose truck. Like this is just like,
yeah,
whoa.
yeah. I'm also sitting here like, where and when did you scan that? How did you scan that?
Literally, like he did a drive-by and scanned that car, and then he just turned into the. So wait a goddamn second. So you were the old rusted flat nose truck for I don't know how long,
right?
But all you had to do was drive by a car and scan it, and then you're good as new now.
I mean, it's also like, okay, you're supposed to be hiding from the government. You're supposed to be a robot in disguise, being a like. Even if they would have just scraped the rust off, had like a whole sequence where they paint him up and make him like red and white, because they released a toy of that truck where it was the classic red and white colors, and like if they would have just done that, okay, cool, robots in disguise, it's believable. Okay, he's actually disguising himself. He's not this souped up, totally custom truck that no company is not even Tesla would use a truck like that. Not even Tesla.
That's the thing. It's like the excuse is that, oh, nobody's going to believe that there's a red, white, and blue flat nose truck. But you're telling me this truck with these hot red flames on it, like it looks like a Power Rangers vehicle. Yeah. All these bright colors on there. You're telling me that looks more discreet than the original design?
It was even more just in your face than the previous truck design. Like,
yeah, I don't understand. It had neon blue lights on it too and all that stuff. I'm just like,
I mean, like him and no, actually no, just him. He's probably the only one that has like the vehicle mode that's like that's a robot. That's a transformer. Everyone else, Hound, Hound, Bumblebee, Drift, even Crosshairs, they all have cars where it's like, oh, okay, it's probably just some like high class dude, or like some military dude, or like some dude's first car.
Yeah.
Everyone else, it's just like
what the fuck? Even Lockdown as a Lamborghini, like that's more believable than what Optimus was.
Right.
Like, okay.
Like I feel like every other bot should have had a moment where they saw Optimus and were just like, really?
Like, you think you're being discreet here? Like, robots in disguise, huh?
Even Galvatron should have sat there and be like, oh, come on now. Like, I was out there with my last truck design.
Yeah, but this just takes the cake right here. So yeah, not a fan of Optimus in this. And then, speaking of that, Bumblebee, Jesus Christ, Jesus!
Yeah,
freaking...
like they start off the movie with his classic design, and it's like, oh, okay, this looks cool, and he's a like inconspicuous car, cool. That makes sense. He's trying to hide, and then like they get into the showroom, and he turns into that, and it's like you see his robot mode, and I'm sitting there in the theater watching this, and I'm like, how is a toy designer gonna make a transforming toy of that?
Oh no, you can't. You can't. Like, what are those discs on the back of his thing? Like, what is all that?
Right. Like, how does this make sense? Where do the spikes on the wheels come from? What about this screams that he's the good guy? That doesn't even scream Bumblebee anymore. That screams like Wasp. That screams like the thing that you kill on sight. That's not the good guy.
Pretty much, he looked like the the stingers in this movie, like a
Yes.
yellow version of the stingers, which I think that was intentional, but like it's Bumblebee, but better in every way. I'm like, Jesus
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Christ.
Which, like, yeah, he was like, he acted like an absolute child in this film, and I get it when you drive into a room where it is just specifically them mocking you. I get it. You know, you're gonna be mad, but like he was kind of like building up to be like the big brother of the Transformers like throughout these films, which like I was fine with that. You know, he's normally meant to be the kid appeal character, but like him being like the big brother, especially since he's the only character that carries over besides Optimus from this previous trilogy in terms of Transformers. Okay, cool. I get it. But then they just throw that all away here. He's got a horrible temper. He's like sitting there basically trying to like, which is also really weird. They gave like all these Transformers the Starscream complex of trying to usurp Optimus Prime, and like he was no different. So like,
Yeah, that's what we're saying. All the Autobots are assholes in this movie.
yeah, they all behave like some football players in a locker room that don't like each other at all, because you know most football players in locker rooms probably at least tolerate or like each other. These people, no, this is like the team starting out at the beginning of a football movie, but for the entire movie. Like,
Yeah, I didn't understand what they were doing with that. And it gets even worse in the last night. Jesus
good
fucking
lord.
Christ, I could not stand them in the last night.
Good lord. None of these characters, not a single one, besides maybe Drift, were believable as actual heroes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Let's talk about Drift.
Asian Stereotype Part 2, The Reckoning. I don't...
Why is there a Shogun Transformer?
So, I get why they gave him the whole samurai motif, because in just about everything Drift appears in, he's a swordsman. He's like a Bushido, like swordsman and everything.
Okay.
I do not get... I don't get why they had to... You know, they're sitting there like, oh, you know, we're not going to do the hardcore stereotypes for like minorities in these films. We're just going to do it for the Transformers.
Do it for the Transformers. Like,
Yeah.
like that makes it any
Like-
better.
Like, Drift is aggressively Asian. Like, it's...
Like, yeah, they literally got Ken Watanabe to voice Drift. I'm just like, in hard accent right there. I'm just like, when he's trying to say Optimus Prime, I'm just like,
yeah.
Optimus Prime.
And like everything that he does is like, you know, inspired by like Japanese culture. And it's like, first off, why?
We've learned
They're
Earth's
alien
languages
robots, and
We learned Earth's languages through the World Wide Web.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like these characters seem like they're new. How does this guy show up here, scan a what does he turn into? Is it a Bugatti, right?
Yeah, it's a Bugatti.
Yeah. It scans a Bugatti, and he's like, "I'm a ninja now." Like,
Makes total sense. Total sense.
I'm fine with them making him a swordsman. I'm fine with them making him very honor bound. That's very true to his character. Everything else is like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
This is what he looks like in the
Why?
cartoon. So you're right about this whole swordsman stuff. So, I can see this being. They could translate that to real life. You could have a white Bugatti with some red on it. Like, what?
Right, you could have him turn into a Bugatti, a Lamborghini, you know, a Porsche.
I don't know. And this goes to with these three Autobots they're about to talk about. It goes back to what I was saying, where it's like I hate with the designs that they give for these Transformers, they start to look more and more like humans,
Yeah,
and it's
like,
just so off-putting.
He-
It's so weird.
The only one who probably didn't look like a human was Bumblebee and
Yeah.
Galvatron in the entire film.
Yeah. It's like even Optimus like started to look a little more humanoid. I'm just like,
I'm sitting there
it's-
like, man, that is a dude wearing a helmet and a knight cosplay. That is,
yeah, that's exactly what it is. I think I can literally cosplay as Night
Right.
Optimus.
Right. You know what? Correction. The Dinobots also didn't look human, but like that's the Dinobots. They're not
Those
supposed to.
Dinobots. Yeah. But yeah, we'll get to those designs in a minute. But let's go to Crosshairs.
That was another character. Like, were trench coats cool in 2014? Is that what the thing is?
I
Because
think
like,
we were past the Matrix era, guys. I don't
I
know if that's
know,
cool
I know.
anymore.
'Cause he was like British Matrix. Like it was like
Yeah, I don't get it.
and he was
I
also
don't
like
get it.
he was also like the most star screamy out of all of them because he's like one of the first
Yeah.
things he says is like, maybe I should be the new leader. You know, like Prime's not all of that.
Yeah, he does that a couple times. Or it's like when he's like, "What's in it for me if I help Optimus?" I'm like,
Right. And it's like, wait a minute, no, you're an Autobot.
"Yeah, you're
You're
the good
talking
guy."
like a bounty hunter. Like,
Yeah, that did not make any sense. But yeah, they give him a trench coat. They give him goggles.
yeah.
They give him a mustache, a fucking mustache.
He ain't the only one, but yeah.
And then what kind of accent was that? Australian accent? Like,
I'm not sure if it was British or Australian. Who even plays him?
yeah, he sounds familiar. Gonna look that up. But for those of you who don't know, this is what Crosshairs looks like in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Again, I guess they didn't want too many.
Wow. That was John DiMaggio. Huh.
Okay.
Huh. He also played Nitro Zeus.
Oh, fucking Nitro Zeus.
But you know, that's the next film. But
that's the next movie. But man, all right. But yeah, so yeah, Crosshairs didn't like it all. And yeah, I guess they didn't want more than one person being red, white, and blue. Like, even though Optimus is not really red, white, and blue in this, but it's like,
yeah, I mean, they also just, like you said, they made him like superhuman, and they really leaned into that name Crosshairs because he's just all about like guns, and he has like the two like Uzis, and he's like,
yeah, like, okay. Parachutes coming out of his face.
Which that was another thing they kind of like, for some reason, decided to divert from what they did in the original films, where it's like, oh, their hands become the guns. It's like, no, they carry guns now. It's like, well, wait, make up your mind. Which one is it? Okay, so they hold guns now. Oh, well, this one has his face turned into a gun. Which one is it?
Yeah, make up your mind. Like, and how does ammo work with them? If they have like, we're diving too deep into this.
Yeah. Don't ask that question because they didn't think of that.
No, my gosh. Correct me if I'm wrong though, because I did start to watch a couple of the G1 cartoons recently. And like, so isn't it accurate that they have their own physical guns? They don't have like guns.
Yes, no, that's completely accurate. It's just that, you know, they changed that for these movies, and then they strayed away from that for some reason.
Yeah, I guess because they couldn't make up their mind on it. It's like, you know, try to be more creative. And then we see in Rise of the Beast, once again, the gun's coming out of their arm again. I'm like, okay,
I don't know.
Whatever. And but okay. Hound. What the fuck is this?
That he should have been Ironhide. Like,
what was the point of killing Ironhide when you're just making another character that's exactly like him?
It's honestly probably more true to him.
Yeah,
because like that was such a huge diversion from Hound as a character. Because Hound is normally supposed to be like the tracker. He's, you know, this like nicer, kind-hearted character who's just pretty much like, I can sniff out whoever's, that's why he's called Hound. He can sniff out, wherever the Decepticons are. But in this one, he doesn't feel like a hero because all he wants to do is kill. And like he'll kill something just because he doesn't like how it looks. It's like that you're an Autobot?
Good guys?
That sounded awfully Decepticon here.
Yeah, and then this is the worst design of all three of them. He's fat, he has a beard, and he has a cigar.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Voiced by John Goodman. I can't
I was
believe they
gonna
got
say
John
they
Goodman
just
to be in this movie.
yeah.
God, I cannot believe it. And he was so annoying.
And that's the thing too. If they would have made this character Ironhide and had John Goodman playing Ironhide, would have loved the character. Would have loved the character because the voice sounds more like an Ironhide, the personality is more like an Ironhide. But
No, but it's like, man.
and like the George just said, he looked more like Bulkhead from the cartoons.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. He looks more like Bulkhead. And I loved Bulkhead from Transformers Animated. You know, it was like it feels like they were trying to mix. They were trying to mix Ironhide and Bulkhead together, and that's what you got here. It's how. And this is what he looks like in the cartoon. He transformed into a Jeep. Simple. There are Jeeps in real life. He could.
No, he's got to turn into a military vehicle.
Oh, Jesus, man! I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand why he carries grenades on him. I don't understand why he has a bunch of guns that supposedly run on energy, but then he runs out of ammo, as he says in the movie, which, yeah, that brings up the question, how do you get ammo?
And that's the thing. When you transform into a vehicle, does it automatically give you a set amount of ammo? These are too many questions. I'm thinking like thinking too hard about it. But okay. Galvatron. Galvatron.
Oh no. You brought back Frank Welker for this.
For this bullshit. God damn it. God damn it. It's a shame we lost Leonard Nimoy, you know, because even though he was good as Sentinel Prime, but like they couldn't have saved him for this. Even though it wouldn't have saved this version of the Galvatron. It's still trash, but it's like you get Frank Welker for this, and it's just
yeah, and his voice, like, you're so used to hearing Hugo Weaving's voice that like hearing Frank Welker's voice come out of this incarnation of Galvatron / Megatron, it's like it doesn't feel right.
No. And I get like, well, it's technically not actually Megatron, so it's different. But like, it's clearly Megatron. It's clearly Megatron in a different skin.
They even pointed out when they're trying to make Optimus Prime, they're sitting there like, why does he look like Megatron?
Well, I don't know. Maybe because you're using the skull of Megatron to build this army. There's no amount of algorithms and math that you can do to figure out this alien technology. I'm sorry to say, that was so dumb. Why are they using the head of Megatron to create an army? That is the worst thing you could have done. The worst thing you could have done. But yeah, this design is awful. It is horrid. This does not look anything like Galvatron from the original show.
And
not even the same origin at all.
Yeah, and the lazy excuse for a transformation they do for him and the other Decepticons in this movie.
Digital pixels from a PS3 menu.
My heart goes out to all those toy designers. Like that's not fair. That's not fair.
You can't do it. You can't do it. Don't even try. Don't even try.
That is not fair.
They don't even feel like Transformers anymore because like you don't see these things transform. They turn into matter, they fly into the air, and then they morph into a vehicle. Like it.
Yeah, I mean, even Bumblebee is confused about it in the movie when he sees it for the first time. He's like, what the? but like, and plus it makes them pretty much impervious.
Yeah, it's like they can't get shot or anything, but well, actually they can. But like, how can they get shot if they can just turn into matter? Like,
I mean, credit, like, at least he turned into a vehicle that you wouldn't assume is a transformer.
I guess for the most part, even though that's a very Tron-like flat nosed truck that's driving around, but yeah,
Yeah,
more discreet than the red and blue hot rod flame vehicle over there. But yeah, man. Okay, so here's what I want to ask you: how do you feel about them doing the plot line of the humans are able to make their own transformers? Do you
I
buy
think
that?
that is stupid. I think that is absolutely like first off, they called it transforming, which already, like, come on. But like also, like, there's no way, if the Cybertronians can't even pull off what transformium does, there is no way that humans who are generations behind their technology are going to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, even in a science fiction movie, like it
Hmm.
still doesn't seem
Like,
plausible.
I feel like they ran out of budget, and that's why they made them transform like that. Because, like, could you imagine if the 2007 film had them transforming like that? And like, like,
I would have walked out
I
like,
know,
no,
I know. I
this is
would have
not
been like, nope,
Transformers. This is not
nope.
Transformers.
I would have been like, nope,
Yep,
that's
that's
not.
where I draw the line. Like, no, that looked horrible. Like even when they turn into matter, it doesn't look like it's fully finished. Like it
Yeah, people want to talk about how Thor: Love and Thunder had some bad CGI. Look at that transforming effect. That was
that that looks so bad.
like,
So
I I I almost feel like that effect, like, jump started the whole need for nanotechnology in superhero films, because, like,
yeah, I can see it. I can see it. That's why we see Iron Man with nanotech technology and all that stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they took inspiration from it. But like I'm going back to the 1986 animated movie. I remember that like they were able to develop like a transforming suit for Spike and his son. Like
yeah,
I
but it was very clearly, like, primitive by Cybertronian standards. It was still, like, just a suit that compressed a bit.
yeah, I think that would have been more plausible for them to create than this transformium nonsense.
Hmm.
And maybe like with these suits, they don't have to be as complicated when they transform like the actual Transformers do. Like they could that could be their way of homaging the G1 stuff and have them do the simpler transforming like that.
Yeah,
Like
but Michael Bay does not care for G1, so.
apparently not. So I'm giving it too many good ideas. but yeah, that was really dumb. Now as we said before, this movie is fucking 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I was thinking with Galvatron being in this movie, and I was thinking maybe they're gonna heavily tease Unicron, like
Mhm.
Galvatron somehow took the the matter the what was left of Megatron and reformed
Yeah.
him, and he becomes a herald to Unicron, and maybe that will set up for the next movie. Maybe that's why this movie's that long, because they want to spend that time to build up that. And maybe when Lockdown was talking about the creators, maybe that's who he's referring to, the granddaddy of them all,
Yeah,
Unicron.
Unicron and Primus or something like that. Like,
Primus. Yeah, that would have been cool to see that. Unicron and Primus. But no, that's not what we've got. That's not what happened. Um, it's so stupid that the humans created Galvatron. That's like Spider-Man 3 level horrible. Like,
I
oh,
mean, yeah.
it just fell from space. That's how Venom became who he was. Like, oh
Mhm.
my fucking
We used the bad guys as a template to try to make good guys. What could possibly go wrong?
yeah, everything will be just fine. Like, hated it. I hated it. I hated it. And then he's after the seed, so he can do create Transformers for himself?
Yeah.
How does he know how to use that technology?
I don't know. I don't know. And I try not to question anything in this movie.
Yeah, no, yeah, I guess not. Okay, let's get to Lockdown.
Probably, sadly, the best character in this film.
Honestly, yes, he
He has a
he
proper
stood out.
motivation. He, feels believable. Yeah, like, and he's played very well. I mean, that's pretty much it. But
Yeah, I was personally really excited because, as I said, I'm first introduced to Lockdown from the Transformers animated show, and I
Mhm.
really liked his episodes there.
Which, yeah, that was his debut. So
And I was surprised that they actually took inspiration from that animated TV show. So I was very happy about that. And yeah, I really like this version of Lockdown. It almost he feels so good. It feels like he does like this movie doesn't deserve Lockdown. Like Lockdown shouldn't even be in this movie.
yeah,
But yeah, man, like he was intimidating. He had presence, as you said. He had his own clear motivations. Um, and the whole like mystique and mystery about who he works for or who sent them here. The whole thing about the creators. It's actually somewhat fascinating. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. No, he sets up some very interesting stuff, and like even when he's like talking like kind of cryptic when he kills Ratchet, it's
Yeah.
still cool. I want to know more about that character.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And his ship is like really cool. Like
Yeah,
the whole
that's cool
sequence
too.
with them escaping, probably the best sequence of the entire movie in my opinion. Like that literally felt like something out of Ridley Scott's Aliens and stuff like that, with them trying to escape through the ship and then the hyena um Transformers, whatever. That was cool. There was those weird bug-eyed looking
Oh yeah,
robot.
yeah. That was weird. What was that about? They just show up for like 2 seconds and then not anymore. It was like, oh, okay. I
Yeah, I
guess
don't.
those exist. Those were clearly practical effects in this like whole like ship of CGI. You just had like the Muppets there. Okay, cool. I guess.
We ain't got room for more again.
Right, right.
Yeah, that was very strange. But yeah, this part just felt like that whole sequence in Lockdown just felt like it should have been a completely different movie. Like that was like full on sci-fi horror, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
it didn't feel like Transformers for that moment there. It just felt like just some sci-fi film. Like that could have been a Star Trek film. But like
Honestly, yeah,
yeah.
that would be cool. Or Independence Day or something.
Yeah, yeah, something like that, or like even I don't know, like maybe some sci-fi sequel to Cloverfield or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And then they even like had they had a whole chase sequence with the spaceships that literally felt like they were trying to promote a ride at Universal Studios. It's like, okay, I mean, it's kind of fun, but it is kind of I don't know that would come out of nowhere. But
Hmm.
yeah, but Lockdown, yeah, he was great. Um, yeah, and I guess it's time now to talk about the Dinobots.
They were such non-characters, and they changed a lot of their names too.
Yeah, like I forget one of them is called Scorn, but that's not actually
Hmm.
Scorn. Like
Hmm.
yeah, the only one that they don't even call them by their names in the movie.
They
But
don't. They don't name any of them.
yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not even characters in this. They're just monsters. That's what they are. They don't even talk. They don't even talk. Now,
Yeah.
okay, so I can see like for the mainstream movie going audience, would they really take it seriously if Grimlock started talking in the third person, be like, "Me, Grimlock, will destroy you"? Like,
I mean, but they're supposed to be primitive creatures, so I mean, it would have made sense.
yeah. I mean, I would have wanted it, but I'm just like, part of
Yeah,
me
I
is
mean,
like, unless you give them a scary voice or something,
that's
like,
that's probably what they would. That's probably what they would, and honestly should have done is like give him that primitive like me am, but like he's like got like some sort of like scary voice or something like that.
yeah, but
Because
it's like, I'm
besides
sorry.
that, they show up and they're like slaves or whatever, and then they're given an ultimatum and become slaves to Optimus Prime, and then they go and earn their freedom and run rampant in China, and that's
And do I have to remind you they don't show up until 2 hours and 13 minutes in? And they were heavily marketed in all of the trailers.
It was like
All
the
of them.
biggest thing that they were talking about with this film is this is gonna have the Dinobots, guys. Grimlock's gonna be in this movie. All the Dinobots that you know and love are gonna be in this movie. For like 5 minutes.
So stupid.
Yeah, like
What?
I've got one video pulled up. The amount of scenes that the Dinobots are in this movie totals to 6 minutes.
In a 2 hour and 45-minute movie.
Yes. That was titled Age of Extinction, had Grimlock on the poster, and heavily marketed all the Dinobots.
Going to have them in the film for 6 minutes.
6 minutes!
God damn it. I can't. This is so fucking horrid.
If you don't feel robbed, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Yeah, no, I would have asked for I should have asked for a refund. I was like, I was promised Dinobots. And they're probably like, well, technically you got Dinobots just for 6 minutes. They never told you how long. Like, fuck you, man.
That's like all the people that were talking about for No Way Home. Oh yeah, you're gonna get Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield for like 5 minutes, which would have sucked if that was we didn't get them for much longer than that, but it would have sucked.
It would have sucked. Like, yeah, man, got bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray. God damn it. Now, as far as the designs, okay, I get it. Can you make this look cool? Yes, you can. But I'm sure the mainstream movie-going audience will probably look at that and be like, go, Power Rangers! But still, I wanted that. Fuck it. I wanted that design.
If the Bumblebee movie can make Volkswagen Beetle Bumblebee look cool, if the Bumblebee movie can make G1 Shockwave look cool, like just you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, Lily. There's no excuse after Bumblebee. You could have made it work.
Yeah. Which, granted, this is before Bumblebee, but at the same time, one of the main arguments that Michael Bay would bring up whenever someone was like, "Well, this character doesn't look like the G1 interpretation," is Michael Bay would constantly say it would not translate well to the big screen, and then they were proven wrong in 2018. But we'll get there.
Get there when we get there. Now, as far as these designs, I'm just. Okay. As designs by themselves, yes, they look cool. Like edge, like heavy metal, edgelord type of designs. Okay, fine, cool. Yeah, it's just like Jurassic Park in the future, whatever. But like, I'm sorry. Once again, you're making them generic gray Transformers that are extremely spiky. Like,
so I mean, like I didn't mind the designs too much, especially when I saw like how the individual designs looked in both robot and dino mode, but I feel like the designs for these characters are every stereotype that anyone has ever associated with a Michael Bay Transformers design and just bundled up into a group of like 5 characters.
Yep. Exactly how it is. The human forms, like, which we barely get to see in this movie. I
Yeah, you
mean,
see them. You see, like Grimlock in robot mode for like 2 seconds, and Optimus is like, "You're free now," and then they transform back, and then just like rampage in Hong Kong. But like,
yeah, you're free now. You can go wreak havoc. Like,
yeah, and then Optimus is like, "Well, that's your problem now. I'm gonna go fly off into space. I'll catch you later."
now, it's not completely out of character for the Dinobots to instantly go back to the dinosaur forms because they're more they're like they stay mostly in their dinosaur forms
Yes.
anyway. But like, not to be able to see them do anything in their robot forms is just, I don't know. And the actual design of the robot forms, like, so half of them look cool, and then half of them I'm like, what the heck? Why does Grimlock have a fucking long horn and a beak? Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is
I don't get it. It's also weird that despite the fact that once again these characters show up for 6 minutes and have no lines, they have the audacity to give them all character descriptions. I've seen it on like the figure boxes and everything, and they describe the Dinobots as like a rowdy, arrogant, disobedient band of warriors. You don't even get that impression. They're just plot devices. They're things that Optimus can threaten and then ride into battle.
Yeah, that's the toy makers like trying to add something to the toy thing.
Oh,
you know,
Hasbro was trying their best.
Hasbro's trying their best, or they were just looking like, this is how the characters are in the cartoon, so we'll use that in the description for the movie, even though we'll never see that in the
Well,
movie.
good for you. You're wrong.
But yeah, and then another thing. I'm sorry. I know this is a cool looking image. This is what they marketed in the movie, but I'm sorry. Grimlock would not let Optimus ride on top of him like a horse.
He would not. There were multiple times in G1 when Grimlock was trying to take over as leader of the Autobots. He would see this puny man with a sword and be like, "Okay, and then just immediately like incinerate him." Like that's
man. Part of me wishes, like, with this new Capleverse, I'm gonna call it the Capleverse now because Cable is taking over, I guess. In this Capleverse, that they actually had a Transformers movie that was dedicated to the Dinobots, where we actually see them develop as characters, similar to what I think they're doing with the Beast
Rise of the Beast,
yeah. Like, I wish we had a movie with them, and instead of them just wasting them in this movie. But
character development in a Michael Bay film? I'm sorry.
But what is that? What is that? Wait a minute, I never heard of such things.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, man, that would have been so cool. Like throughout this movie, like they introduced the Dinobots much earlier. And at first they'll be like adversaries to the Autobots, but then Optimus slowly gains their trust as the movie goes on. That would have been more cool.
It would have even been cool if you had it introduced at the beginning when you show like the cyber forming of like that dino area and everything, and like, okay, that's how the Dinobots come to be. And then they like form a little rebellion, they get captured, and then maybe they have like some sort of little conversation with Optimus Prime, like negotiate terms for release or something like that. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so many better ideas they could have done. Okay, and then there was the whole sequence with a lockdown ship sucking up everything and dropping it.
Yeah, which was really weird. I feel like that was like a trend with like sci-fi things at the time. You would just have like a ship with like some sort of gravity well thing that would like suck up a bunch of stuff and then drop it, and then that's how they destroy stuff. I don't.
This came out a year after Man of Steel.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know what? Yeah. You know what? How long was this before Battleship?
Yeah, I think this came out after Battleship.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
This started the trends of, I think, and ever since the first Avengers, they're like, or actually no, because Dark of the Moon came out before the Avengers. Ever since Dark of the Moon, beam in the sky. Like,
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay.
Look at this alien ship. Don't it look evil? It doesn't look evil yet. Well, watch it pick things up and drop them. Now it's evil.
Evil. Yeah, man.
Ooh, no lasers. It just picks things up and put them down.
Treat you like a sick kid being picked up and dropped. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so that was that whole thing, and yeah, that whole long drawn out thing with Hound and Bumblebee fighting Galvatron's minions, and the Dinobots coming in, and the Optimus and the Autobots riding on top of them in the most degrading way. I'm just like, okay, and then Bumblebee.
Which shouldn't have worked, by the way. It shouldn't have worked because they show in the earlier fight, like, oh, they just can't be killed.
Okay. Okay.
I get that they retreat at the end of the film, but like
they, you couldn't befriend them or make sure they don't get into trouble. You think they're just gonna stay in the forest?
Spoiler alert: they don't.
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
Start robbing.
And they're used even less in the last night.
Yeah, no, they're just petty criminals, which is really weird. But
God,
so what did this one do? Oh, he robbed a bank. Why?
Why? Is this Fantastic Beasts and where to find them? Like what?
Right. What about this one? I'll suck your brains. No, keep that one away. But
oh man. But yeah. Dang, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think anything else really happened.
Not really. I mean, like, anything that happened in the final fight, we kind of covered earlier on. Like, Optimus just sidetracking the battle with Lockdown and be like, let me just kill this human real quick. All right, yeah.
Like, wow, okay. And the Dinobots block a bridge.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. And then yeah, okay. So Optimus flying away.
Yes. After his so inspiring speech.
So you mean to tell me that you could fly away at any time?
Yeah. So Jetfire didn't need to die. Is that what you're telling me? Jetfire's like, I need to give you the power of flight. I'm gonna, kill myself.
Give you the jetpack and everything.
Yeah.
Or like, so there was no point of having the jetpack from your trailer either. If you could just fly like that. And there were so many other situations in this movie earlier on where it could have been very convenient for you to fly away.
Yeah.
You getting captured, you could have flown away.
Like he could have also sat there and been like, we're leaving the humans, and like, well, wait a minute, and then he's like, no, and then just flies away along with the rest of the Autobots.
He's like, no.
Credits roll. End of movie. That's.
Oh my god. But yeah, that was the biggest load of bullshit. Do I want to call it Deus Ex Machina? Maybe. I guess that technically is a Deus Ex Machina, but like, yeah, just him taking the humans and flying away before the bomb goes off. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Now, fun fact for people that haven't watched the original cartoon, the Transformers are able to fly randomly. So
yeah, it was weird. Apparently they were like, oh, the Autobots can fly for the first couple episodes, then they can't. It's just the Decepticons that fly. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. So was that him trying to slightly homage them being able to fly? Of course not. He just
I don't think it was that deep, man.
Nope. I don't think so either. That was just some that was just some convenient stuff so they could end the movie because they just realized, oh man, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes and we ran out of money. Let's have them fly away real quick. Yeah,
Right. Oh, we can't animate the spaceship anymore. That's too many moving parts. It's too much money. Okay, put rocket boots on the end of his feet or something, man. I don't.
Really have them fly away. Be like, I am going to find the bakers.
Yeah.
Like, wait, but so, and you're just gonna leave your Autobots on Earth?
Yeah.
Just gonna leave them there?
Yeah. I mean, it's also like, okay, so the creators were able to send someone that was so strong that they had you on the ropes, and you're just like, yeah, I'll fight them by myself.
By myself, because I'm a Prime.
Yeah, being a Prime did so much good for you in Revenge of the Fallen, didn't it?
Oh yeah. And where's that Matrix of leadership now? I don't know.
Yeah, that's never brought up ever again.
Ever again. So yeah, that was so dumb. So, like, oh my god. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps everything up.
Just about.
So yeah, let's get to final thoughts and grades. Overall, this movie is garbage. This is hot trash. This is probably the worst one they've made until the next one. Man, I'm just dumbfounded of what I just watched. This movie's too goddamn long. They didn't do anything with this 2 hour and 45 minutes. It was just padding and adding plot points that aren't necessary, that don't add anything. The Transformers still feel like one-dimensional characters, if I even want to call them that. The Autobots are assholes. Everyone's assholes, even Bumblebee and Optimus. Mm-hmm. The designs for the Transformers I don't like. The human characters are bland. Mark Wahlberg is completely miscast as Inventor Cade Yeager. Tessa is meh. Shane is meh.
Yeah.
TJ Miller was decent but got killed off in the first 20 minutes. Stanley Tucci is Stanley Tucci. Yeah. Kelsey Grammer did a really good performance, but tried too hard in the Transformers movie. Lockdown had the potential to be a great villain, but felt misplaced in this really badly written movie. Man, Michael Bay is just going through the motions at this point. I don't even know why he came back to do this. Like, it just felt like he's not passionate about it anymore. He's there to collect the paycheck. Is he great with action scenes? Of course he did. Of course he is. But that does not make up the bad story, the bad characters, the inconsistent plot, the retconning, all that. I don't like to say this a lot because I feel like this gets thrown around all the time. But Michael Bay, you ruined my child.
Yeah.
My hype for Transformers died at this point. I wasn't even excited for any more Transformers films at this point. I was dragging myself to see the next one, and that didn't make it any better either. But yeah, this movie is trash. I'm sorry for you people that are fans out there. If you like this movie, more power to you, but I can't get with you. If you turn this on during a party, I'm leaving. I can't do it. I cannot do this. Transformers Age of Extinction is a D-. And you're lucky I'm giving it that. You're lucky. Go ahead, Big B.
Yeah, starting with like all the advertising and like all the behind the scenes stuff I was starting to get excited for until I saw the designs, and from there it was just downhill. The human characters are entirely forgettable. The Transformers are overall forgettable outside of Lockdown. Like it's it's not a very good film. It's not even a good film. It's not an adequate film. It's not a bad film. It is a terrible film. Like, and yet I do find myself disliking Revenge of the Fallen more. Because at least the designs in that film were all right for the most part, better than the ones in this film. And the characters were a lot more memorable in that film than this film. So
There's another F. We got another F.
It's an F. It's an F. It's definitely an F. It is definitely an F. Like, and it doesn't get any better for the next one. I'm gonna just say that right now. It's
yeah. I'm sure you guys will have a good idea of what we're gonna think about the next one. But anyway, that's our thoughts, our rant on Transformers: Age of Extinction. Tell us, what were your thoughts on this movie? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment your thoughts down below and let us know. I don't know a lot of people that love this movie. I don't.
I thankfully don't.
But yeah, whew, Jesus. Well, the pain does not end there, because the next Transformers film we will be talking about is Transformers: The Last Night.
Just one more bad one. Just one more
bad one. That's the last Michael Bay Transformers movie we got to talk about, and then we can move on to better things.
Greener pastures, happy place, find my happy place.
Happy place. Well, yeah, if you guys enjoyed this live stream, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And please hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. It helps a lot. Please subscribe. Don't be a ninja watcher. We went through this torment just for you guys, just for your entertainment, so it'd help a lot if you subscribe. Go ahead and plug your stuff, Bigby.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me over at Red, White, and Blue Streak right there. I do a bunch of Transformers figure reviews and just figure reviews in general, which are usually in a lot more of a positive light than these movies. So if you want some good times, for the most part anyways, feel free to head on over there. I don't really mince my words when it comes to the figures, but I tend to look at ones that I like. So
yes.
Yeah.
He does some really good tour reviews, so go check him out. Well, anyway, that's all we have for you Transformers fans, and we will see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. The Seed!